Maybe you're thinking of buying a home, but you're a little bit nervous about the hidden costs that come along with the purchase. Well, stick around. I'm going to tell you the 7 hidden costs that you should be aware of when you're purchasing your brand new home. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about the 7 hidden costs that you might encounter as a home buyer. So a lot of people wonder when they're going into the process, what is going to be hidden from me, or what are costs that I might not be prepared for? Well, first and foremost, if you're working with the right realtor, you shouldn't be unprepared for any costs that come up, and you should learn about all of these at the beginning. But I want to take you through 7 things that you might not be aware of when you're going through the home purchasing process. So number 1 is your home inspection. So you're going to pay for your home inspection at the time it's completed, and that's before closing. It's typically after you get into contract and before you're closing, and you're paying the home inspector directly. If you're purchasing a condo in the Seattle area, you're looking at about $200 to $300 for your home inspection. And for a single family home, you're looking at $450 or more, depending on the square footage of the home. And you pay that directly to the home inspector at the time that your home inspection takes place. So that is one upfront cost that you need to be prepared for. The other upfront cost that you need to know isn't really a hidden cost, but it's something you pay before closing, which is your earnest money. Now, earnest money is typically between 1% to 5% of the purchase price, and it's applied towards your down payment. So it's a deposit on the down payment, but you pay this up front before closing. So you have to have this money ready to go when you first get into contract. It's due 2 business days after your contract is signed. So earnest money is that money that shows the seller that you're interested in the home, and if you back out for any reason you're not legally protected by the contract, then the seller is awarded the earnest money. If you're protected by a contingency in the contract, which is a legal out, you can get your earnest money back. So let's say you're planning to put 10% down. If you put 3% earnest money in, you owe the remaining 7% of your down payment at closing. So that is one upfront cost that you need to be aware of. The third cost that you might need to be thinking about is a move-in fee. If you're moving into a condominium building, you're typically going to be charged $100 to $200, if not more, for the move-in fee by the HOA. So that's something you need to think about, which will probably be included in your closing costs. The fourth cost is your appraisal. Now, the appraisal can be paid for at the time it's ordered, which is when you're in contract, or as part of the closing costs. In the Seattle area, you need to budget $700 to $900 for your appraisal. Now, this is ordered by the lender that you work with, but you are the one responsible for paying for it because you are the buyer. So you will have to pay for that either while you're in contract or at the closing table. The fifth one is the closing costs. So the closing costs include a couple different things. First, the closing costs include title insurance. So you have to get insurance on the title because you are the buyer to insure you for anything that has happened in the past on that title. So let's say a contractor did a bunch of work to the home and never got paid and is owed money. Well, you would want title insurance if that ever came up to protect you so you wouldn't have to pay that contractor back if you were not the one who elicited their services. The second type of closing cost, and the 6th one on our list, is property tax. So property taxes in Seattle are paid twice a year, and you'll be prorated as the buyer for the remainder of that half of the year that needs to be paid from your closing date through when the next payment cycle is. So you do have to take into account that the seller has probably paid some of that already, but you'll be prorated for every single day that you own the home during that period of the half year to pay that at closing for your property taxes. And last but not least, the 7th cost to you is your prepaid HOA fees. So if you are moving into a condo, you need to be aware that you will probably have a transfer fee from the HOA. We already talked about the move-in fee, and you may be paying 1 to 2 months of the HOA dues at closing. These will all be part of your closing costs, but you need to be aware that these are some of the things that you might have to pay for. You should typically budget between 1% to 3% of the purchase price for your closing costs, and those are in addition to your down payment. There you have it. Those are 7 hidden fees as a buyer that you may want to be thinking about and learning about before you get into the process. If you have any questions about what these fees include or what they might be estimated at, don't hesitate to reach out. You can call, text, DM me. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it and share it with someone who might find it helpful as well. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd love to have you come along. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.